Welcome to Resources Board today at 6th of September. I can't believe it's September already. So after our short summer break, and welcome back everyone. Hope you have an enjoyable summer. We have apologies this evening from Councillor Hancock, but everyone else appears to be here. Do we have any disclosable or non-disclosable, non-pecuniary expenses? Okay. And moving on to the minutes of Resources Board held on the 20th of June. What be here for me to sign?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Sorry, Chair.
Sorry. Councillor Wilson, been moved by Councillor Wilson, seconded by Councillor Cruz. Tony, please. We'll sign those. Okay. And obviously we'll move to the public participation. As you can see in the gallery, they're overwhelmed. So we'll move on to agenda item 6, which is General Fund Budgetary Control Report 2022-23 up to the end of July. Are there any questions pertaining to the report? That's the 6th.
Thank you, Chairman. It's a question that I have asked before, but in respect of 331 and 341, when do we anticipate that we'll get back onto an even keel with this? I'm concerned that this is at least the second quarter where one of the reasons for a hole in our accounts is that we have not got back to normal post-lockdown.
Okay, well, I know that given the current in cost of living challenges, there has been a slightly slower move to back being normal, if you like. But Sue has sort of said to me today that we are actually getting back to normal on that. So do you want to comment on that, Sue?
Chair, if I could just say, yes, it is a slow process at the moment. The only thing that I have been trying to deal with existing energy rebate payments, but we have paid significant numbers, around 86% of the, I think 21,500 we had to pay. So yes, probably once we've got those completed, be able to devote all of our time back on to recover that.
Forgive me, Chairman, that was my question.
Okay. So obviously you want the resource to be used to speed up the recovery, to close the gap. What's owed?
My concern, if you're showing is the year before we had an underperformance. We've got a new computer system which enabled us to deliver according to budget. Then we had lockdowns, and now we still haven't caught up. So I'm concerned with the backlog in these areas and how we will address the issue, because according to what I've heard later on, we've got a £500,000 hole. How are we going to address it? And these are two areas in here which seem to keep now reappearing.
Chair, yes, if I may, yes, it has taken a lot longer. We have started recovery processes now. We will pursue that as far as we can. It will be a challenge because of the economic difficulties faced by some to actually recover the debt, but nonetheless, we are starting to go through the recovery processing. I can't give a definitive answer on it, I'm afraid, much as I would like to be able to. But we are very much focusing our attention on that.
Thank you.
Well, my question was very much along the same lines, really, and it was really, especially given the economic forecasts and the growing debt that many households are getting into, whether there is a risk here that isn't just about how well or not we're handling recovery of this income, or whether we actually need to build it into future forecastings as a considerable risk is what was on the head of this year and next in terms of growing and it being recoverable. And it sort of feel that there's behind all of this, there's quite a lot of different reasons that are there, some of which may be to do with the way we're functioning with the Borough Council and the capacity that we've got to drive this, but something that's actually much more immovable in terms of the ability and capacity of households to pay. And I just feels a need for slightly better understanding of what we're facing.
So from that, do you mean, at what point do we say actually, is it recoverable or is it actually bad debt? When we readdress our forecast. But equally understanding the slower rate of recovery because of the capacity within the resource, because of working on issuing grants as opposed to collection of income.
Yes, I suppose there's that, but I'd be quite interested to know what other authorities are experiencing in these areas too, in terms of income recovery and how they are approaching it. And it may be that there's a in-house capacity issue, one being offset by the other, of issuing grants versus collection. And I just don't know which of those we are having to face and manage. And I'm not sure from your answer, Sue, yet that you've got a complete grip on how much of that is going to be continuing, really following that from Councillor Simpson's question.
In terms of performance, I know we always in the past performed very well
Very well,
against
yeah.
our peers, the collection rates. So how far has that, if at all, dropped? So
Certainly with council tax in India, it has dropped, but we're talking about maybe 7.5 to maximum, depending on when you're looking at council tax or India. Our collection rates are very similar to the local authorities at the moment. So yes, we are starting to improve those, I think, already. But it will be a challenge because people are facing more difficulties in their income streams and so forth. With regards to the recovery of present sectors, at home, I can say I'm not quite sure how others budget for something, but I will look at funds finding out just to make sure that we are on track with that. My plan certainly is to bring a more comprehensive report just on debt levels and so forth to the November meeting this week. I had hoped to do it for this war, but I'm afraid time got away from us. But we will bring complete to try and answer some of the questions that have been asked.
the other point I wanted to sort of draw attention to in this report was 4.2 about the obviously the claim for reimbursement to the government for the legal costs of the Kingsbury oil terminal. You know, when will we hear if we are successful in that claim? Is it automatic that we get those funds repaid, or is there a risk element around that?
Shane, I'm afraid I don't know all of the detail for this, but I don't think it's an automatic refund. I think because we did some quite early work on these whole protests, I think we're attempting to get some recognition financially for that. But I don't know that there's any guarantee of success, but certainly try.
Thank you. Councillor Moss.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. On the certainty that none of my electors are listening to me, what does DLUHC stand for, please?
Department of Living Up and CH and Community. Housing and Community.
Can you say that again, please?
Department of Living Up, Housing and Communities. And by next week, it might be 2 more letters. You know, figure out.
MHCLG, and it became the DLUHC. So let's just see what comes next. Sorry, Councillor Simpson.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the report up to, when is it?
July.
31st of July, and being aware that our officers were in court again today on this exact issue. I'm presuming that I'm right in assuming that 77,000 is some of the iceberg, but not all of it. There will be more costs on this.
And they've been in court, what, 2 weeks ago as well? So, yeah, so this is up to the end of July, so there's August and September still to be accounted for. In that area, it'll be in our next update. So if there is a risk around some of the reimbursement, we need to be mindful.
We know, Chairman, don't we, that government's marvellous at paying for their bills. 11% of their bills, they always chip in.
Okay, so moving that one on.
Can I just ask a question about that myself? Because is there
have we got a legal obligation to do this? Because it's a national security issue. It's not just down to the local authority.
Yes.
Could it not be taken to a higher authority? You know, you actually get the government to pay for it, because ultimately it's the government's going to put the bill for everything. They set the bit we pay out at front end, it seems to me. So if we did nothing about it, who would step in and do something about it? Or have we got a legal obligation? I'd say, I don't know what we do. The police turn up. Should the police fire it off to start it? Or is it a borough issue, a county issue, or is it main government issue?
Well, obviously they've applied for the injunctions and, I genuinely don't.
But why
know.
should we apply for an
I
injunction?
don't know why it falls to us, so that's.
You know what I mean? Sorry, I keep interrupting. This could go on forever. There may be a tunnel underway at the moment, because that's all they keep doing.
Maybe that's something we need to ask. At what point, I mean, it's been started, we've taken that on, we've tried to get the injunction, we've tried to support it in the early stages. We were commended for taking action quickly. And if we'd have left it to other people, at what point would that have started? So there's a question there. Would it have been much more established and a bigger risk? I don't know. But what our statutory duty is, that I don't know. Sue, are you aware of what our statutory duty is?
I'm sorry, Chairman, I don't have advice from a legal comment.
Should we do that and then just email round to the group? Email round to the board?
But can I just say, Chair, sorry to keep that could be 50 grand more already, if we've been in the court twice.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I'm not sure how much this comes into something we've been talking about in open session, but there is a risk management and a security issue here. At the end of the day, if you've got people digging tunnels into a substantial facility like the oil terminal, there is a major public safety issue. And I think we're absolutely right to have done it. I guess we would be genuinely concerned about the money. But frankly, I think given the threat to civil order in Borough, we have to.
And for that, we were commended for acting early, so I think you're right, absolutely, safety and security of people within the borough. So Councillor Wilson and Councillor Derby's on the director.
Perhaps we ought to refer those that did the tunnel to HS2. Quicker and better.
Better tunnel.
They could fill it in.
No, my question is referring to the car park, says, it's in there. How much money have we made on it? Have we lost on it? Or is it very improved?
You can see, so far, we're slightly ahead of where we thought we would be at this stage
What do you mean slightly ahead
in terms of income.
income? What amount is that?
I can tell you the amount of money that was raised in my car parking.
Yes.
Not having any car parks whatsoever, I think it was zero.
So there's an underspend on that of 8K. So yeah, so because obviously it's not a money making scheme, it's a cost avoidance scheme, so we haven't spent as much as we anticipated we would at this point.
But we still know what to do.
Councillor Derby.
Yeah, I was going to raise the same thing, basically same as Councillor Simpson, but also say, I don't understand where the company that is operating it gets into this. Are they paying towards the security? Are we putting a hole with the bill? Are we trying to recover it all from central government? I think it's just another question that we need a sort of legal answer to try and chase down where the funding is going to, the bill is going to finally. But again, I think it was the only right thing to do is what we do.
We can follow that up with Clive.
Yeah.
And get that circulated to the board. Okay, so any other questions on the report? Then I'm happy to The recommendation that we note the report from the chair. Do I have a second? That's not up to. All in favour? Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 7, which is the housing revenue account budgetary control report for the period ending the 1st of July 2022. Are there any questions on this report?
Chairman, supposedly we note the report, I think, from what I understand, it was questionable. A positive report with an overall good position of underspend or over recovery, whatever it is. But I'm very happy to note.
Have a second, Councillor Davis. All in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. Moving on to agenda item 8, which is the capital programme. Period ending 31st of July. There's 2 recommendations this evening. Recommendation A, to approve an additional budget allocation of 400,000 for 2 new affordable social housing, and then the progress against the programme. The programme being noted. Any questions relating to the report?
Happy to see that you're spending 400,000 in building. Thank you.
Great. I knew you'd comment. Councillor Simpson.
Chairman, I don't know if I should, it's just a sarcastic comment that this is the first time I can remember a comment such as in 4.2, where we have only spent the profile budget on capital expenditure. When we haven't spent it, can we stretch it to next year? So I think that's a very welcome position.
I'm not sure Sue's in agreement, but I'm glad you're actually pleased that against the capital programme we're actually fulfilling some of the plans that we set out at the beginning. But yes, again, the 2 houses in Dordon funded by Section 106 and new build receipts, so not our own capital funds either, I think is quite a welcome addition to our housing stock.
Yeah.
So,
Kevin, if I can add on to that, just in the not sarcastic part of what I'm going to say. I know there are issues with the contract with respect to the new build flats in 2 locations in Anderson. And I have to say, every time I drive into Anderson, look at what an asset to the community, to the town, to the borough they are, and what a credit they are to the local authority. We've taken some of the building to an awful bunch of problems, and what we're putting some up the line are very attractive new build houses. The sooner we can go through the issues with the contracting their difficulty and actually have homes for people to live in instead of that's hard work. Credit to the authority, those 2 developments.
yeah, they are there. They are looking good. It's just been asked to get to information so that they not build this sort of people, and the people that have been offered those properties can actually make some difficulty there as well. Some of the local councillors are going to.
This is
Yeah, Chair, similar to Councillor Elliott said, local members become updated about this. And everybody has said, and I see, especially the ones in Long Street, but we're getting all the questions of why I think, because I know the ones in Long Street are all been set. And there's people out there that are waiting to move in. I know one lady that gave a notice on her house where she was, and we're losing rent. So I just think it would be nice if it could be taken forward that the local members are kept up to date with what is happening.
Give us a reasonable request. Everyone's going to be getting questions. Absolutely. Okay. We all seem to be quite in agreement, so I'll move that from the chair. Do I have a second? Councillor Simpson. All in favour of agenda item 8? Again, that's unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 9, which is the exclusion of the public and press.
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Thank you. All in favour?
It's 22 minutes of record. There we go.
Recommendation to the board to consider whether in accordance with section 108 Local Government Act 1972, public press be excluded from the meeting for the following item of business on the grounds that it involves a likely disclosure to exhibit information as defined by Schedule 12A to the Act. Apologies, we haven't to read that.